I'm here to gain a greater perspective of the world, to better myself and to kind of see the world through different lenses.
I'm on this tour because I've found through projects I do at home that in order for any sort of movements to gain traction, they need to be applied in a way that has American relevance. So I'm coming over here to try and get into the mindsets of what it means to be an American, especially underneath a climate change denying administration.
No matter what you do, it helps to know how things work, how the systems act and what you need to do to change them. So for me, this has been about soaking up knowledge from all sorts of different areas of society in the US.
I would say that I'm here on this trip because I want to become more of a global citizen in the way that I want to always be learning and have the experiences that can further open my mind to new ideas. I don't want to be complacent.
Talking to people you disagree with is diplomacy. That has become very evident through our meetings we've had, but one thing that has really stuck is the words "cool heads must prevail."
When we were driving out to the pyramids in Mexico City, we really saw the scale of the problem, driving past the favelas and things like that. It's such a complex issue for Mexico to solve, the poverty and inequality and the corruption, and we visited various organisations like Central Pro trying to deal with the issue.
I've seen the realities of some of the companies we work for, the pros and cons of them, and made me really ask myself whether it's something I want to do. And in most cases the answer was yes, this is definitely the path I want to take, and some of them they were good lessons to learn early on.
It was really exciting as part of the tour to visit the NASA Space Research Centre on the outskirts of Washington DC. It was, we were given a full tour of the premises by a guide, and it was exciting to see the work of all the leading scientists and engineers in the field and developing their new technologies to visit Earth, the Moon, Mars and beyond.
So we're here at the New Zealand Embassy in Washington DC, and we've just had a fantastic meeting with one of the junior diplomats here. It was really exciting to be able to hear the work that goes on behalf of New Zealand, and for me personally, this is the reason why I'm at university, and everything that was shared is exactly what I've been expecting in terms of one day getting a job as a foreign diplomat.
To me, how we turn online activists into offline activists is the question of our generation. How we wake society up from its hibernation. And I guess the answer is found in shifting the narrative, to reword the issues of our world in a way that makes them directly relevant to that individual.
So we've just completed our tour of Capitol Hill, and it has been an incredible experience to see the workings of the government and to be in the hub and the heart of America.
The reason why I have so much appreciation for Washington DC and American politics has to be the sheer complexity of the whole system. Like, it's nothing compared to New Zealand. New Zealand doesn't have 325 million people. We've got 4 million people, so the numbers in government are a bit more relevant. However, in America, you've got 435 people in House of Representatives and 100 senators all making decisions that influence these people. And then it gets even better. You've got one president who can say something, make a decision that influences billions of people around the world. And being in Washington DC and up close in person with that amount of political influence really, really blew my mind.
My light bulb moment was probably meeting with Chris Mahoney, who worked at the World Bank, and he told us a story about when he was about 20, which is my age. He decided to spend a year in Liberia post-war working in transitional justice. And in the middle of his degree, he just went and did it, which, I really want to work in post-conflict zones and that sort of thing. So to know that you can actually just go and do it was quite cool to hear.
The New Zealand delegation is now at the Library of Congress. Personally, this is probably the highlight of the trip for me, just because I love books a lot, and I buy a lot of books, and I get a lot of shit for buying books and reading books. And I'm finally at a place which respects books, and I think I'm personally inspired by this place in regards to how I'll create my own library. Thomas Jefferson divided his personal library up into 3 things: memory, reason, and imagination. And I think now my collection will be divided up into 3 as well.
I think at this stage of our lives, if our role was to be encompassed into a few words, it would be to go out there and to bother people.
I've had lots of moments on the tour where I've just kind of realized that in my life, if I really want to be successful and if I want to achieve more and I want to help people, then I really need to be, I need to take charge of that.
Levi saw this really amazing view of the Washington Monument from the Capitol Hill, and so I stood to take a photo of him. And while I was taking a photo of him, there was this guy that came from the side with an orange wig on, and he had this board that said, "This is a sign" on it. He was just going around showing it to people. And initially I thought he was initially he was a protester that was there because, you know, it's Washington DC and everyone loves to protest against Trump. But actually what he did is that he just came and stood in front of me with his back facing me, his sign held up in the air, facing the Washington Monument, and I just stood there staring at him wondering, what the heck is this? So this girl comes up and she asks him, you know, why are you carrying this board? And he says that, well, when I woke up this morning, something from within told me that I needed to create this as a sign for people out there who needed that sign in their lives to make that move that they were thinking of making, or that take that jump in their life. So when I heard that, I was taken aback a bit, because it was like, because I'm such a big believer in the idea of destiny, fate, things happening for a reason. I felt like, is that guy here for a reason? Am I supposed to take something from that? So I think that is probably a memory from the trip that I'll keep for life.
I can't think of a more interesting time to have come to this region. The political climate is tense, and so is the life surrounding it. One of my favourite anti-Trump slogans is the words "stop building walls and start building longer tables." Never before have tables been so important.
We've finished paying for our breakfast in this Italian diner somewhere in New York, in Manhattan, and you know, it's cold outside, and Levi leaves his glove, you know, on the floor. He just drops it by accident, and the server comes up, he's like, "Hey, wise guy, you drop your glove."
Well, politics isn't just a game for politicians, but it affects people's real lives and real families.
If you had asked me why I was here at the start of this trip, I would have said I just applied and I got in. But at the end of this trip, through the meetings we've had with Amnesty International and Green Book Traoreg and all of these organisations that are making such a difference, I would say I'm here to find my place in the world.
My New York moment was when we were walking out of the hotel and there was an underground vent just pouring out this steam, and you had to walk through it, and as you walked through it, you were able to see Times Square.
Yelling at someone isn't going to make them want to listen to you, and I think that's a really important lesson. And I think it's hard to remember when it's so personal for you, if it's, you know, women's rights or whatever the issue is. It's hard to take a step back and think, how is the best way that I'm going to get my opinion across?
I believe that the law is really important to society because it shapes the way that the rules are set. And I believe whilst enacting new laws doesn't necessarily create the change, it provides a gateway for other people to enact change at a lower level.
So we visited all these big name organisations, and the people who work there really drilled it into us that we really need to get over this tall poppy syndrome. And I agree, but to some extent. So I don't think it's bad to be unsure about what you're doing or still working out what you have to contribute, but you need to be confident in who you are and in your value. it kind of brought to my consciousness that you need to understand that people don't know you when they meet you. And that means they don't know why they should give you their time. Nobody wants to listen to anyone until they know they have something to say. And it's up to you to choose to be heard, not to wait for someone else to give you a voice.
So one of the things that I sort of felt before I sort of came to the trip is that for me it was like, dream big, think big, and I really thought I embodied that. But now, after this trip and after seeing the things I've seen, meeting the people I've met, experiencing the things I've experienced, it's made me realize, nope, I'm not thinking big, that there's another layer, another sort of dimension to thinking, and at this stage it shows that I've got a lot of growth left, especially when it comes to my mindsets.
If I have learned anything from this tour, it would be that understanding of the power in a group, to find unlikely people and stem out from a common value. That's how you create change.